The host of today's NAMM breakfast session helps businesses reach their potential in the digital age. He's been called a web guru by the New York Times and one of 20 speakers you don't want to miss by Forbes magazine. Please give a warm NAMM welcome for Marcus Sheridan.
All right. Good morning. Now, I recognize some of these faces, and some of you might remember me. Who was at NAMM Winter with me earlier this year? Raise your hand so I can see you. Yeah, but the rest of you, you're in for a treat. Now, those that came back, I don't know what to tell you. So we're going to have a good time this morning. We always have a good time here at NAMM. And, as a speaker, you always have these thoughts, right? Do you share theoretical stuff, future stuff, or do you share stuff that they can use right now in their business? And of course, hopefully, you know which one I chose for you this morning. Because I hope that after you hear these words today, you're like, man, I have so many takeaways from this talk this morning. But my quick story for those that haven't met me yet, because it is a little bit of a different story. You see, I used to be a pool guy. That's right. NAMM brought you a pool guy this morning. I know you're fired up about that. That is a fiberglass pool. That's one of about 1,300 fiberglass swimming pools my company, River Pools, has installed throughout Virginia and Maryland. So started this company in 2001. Things were going okay up until this particular date and number. What does that date and number represent right there? Let's see how good you are. Yeah, day of the crash. That's where the Dow went that day. Good or bad day for pool guys? Yeah, not so good, because how do most people get the money to buy a pool? Of course, that's right. They borrow against the equity of their home, and after this day, most people didn't have value in their home. And so within 48 hours of the crash, we lost 5 deposits, people that said, hey, we just can't do this, Marcus. We're too concerned. So we lost $250,000 in business in the first 48 hours. And over the coming weeks, it got worse and worse and worse. And then by January of 2009, we're going over the edge. And everybody says to me, I talked to 3 consultants that month, and they all said the same thing, Marcus, you should file bankruptcy. But the problem was, if I filed bankruptcy, I was going to, and some of you relate to this, right? I was going to lose my home. My 2 business partners would have lost their homes. My 60 employees would have lost their jobs. And so we had to figure out a way to get back over that edge. And as we talked about in Winter NAMM, we got back over that edge, and the River Pool story now has been shared all over the world. But how did we do it? Well, in just a real quick synopsis, as I was going over that edge and saying, okay, I've got a choice here. We can either save the business and do whatever we can, or we can just accept our fate. And so that's when we started to look at the internet, right? Started to see all these fancy phrases that you've been reading that might frustrate you, like they did me: inbound marketing, content marketing, digital, social, blogging, all this stuff. And what I heard in my simple pool guy mind was, Marcus, if you just obsess over your customers' questions, like really obsess over them, and you're willing to address them on your site, through text, through video, you just might save your business. So we had a culture of listening, and we called this They Ask You Answer. It's a mindset, as I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Now, here's the thing about They Ask You Answer. Most companies, when it comes to the questions our buyers ask about our products every day, especially when it comes to retail, we don't embrace it, because instead we embrace what you might call ostrich marketing, right? In other words, we don't want to necessarily talk about all the things that they ask unless they ask. But if you want to become the most trusted voice in your space, you can't be the ostrich in 2018 and beyond. And so today, I'm going to show you how you become that voice of trust. Now, we might say it's through becoming a digital powerhouse, but ultimately all this stuff is about trust and how you can become the most trusted retailer and the most trusted business in your space. And I promise you, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, as we talked about last time, there's basically 5 subjects that every buyer, when it comes to retail, when they are researching products, they want to know 5 things before they come into the store. 5 things. And as retailers, if we're not addressing these 5 things, there's a good chance that we're missing out. As buyers, we want to know how much is it? What are the negatives or issues or drawbacks with it? We want to know how does that thing compare to everything else that I'm also looking at, to brands, to products, to services. We want to know what's everybody saying about it, and we want to know what the best it is. And once again, most companies, generally speaking, they don't address these buyer-based questions. That's what we got to be willing to do. But I'm not going to spend so much time talking about that today. That's just a recap of what we discussed before. I want to give you a vision of how you can become that powerhouse of trust in a digital world. We're going to go over 7 things that hopefully you feel like you can apply right away to your business. And I think you're really going to see this after the first couple. Now, number 1, understand the difference between principles and platforms. I got a question for you. Is Facebook going to be here in 20 years? What do you think? We don't know, do we? We don't know. And the reason why we don't know is because Facebook is a platform. It's a platform. Now, it doesn't mean that it's bad. And it doesn't mean that it can't help you today. But we can't bank everything on necessarily Facebook. But what is a principle? What is a principle of business that you know is going to be around in 20 years? Can you think of one to yourself right now? So for example, in 20 years, is it going to be absolutely critical that you show your products better than anybody else in this space? Yes or no? Absolutely, right? So that's a principle. So we know we're going to have to continue to show the thing. Now, where we show the thing, it could be a Facebook, but we've got to remember there is a difference between the two. We ride the platforms however long we ride them, but what is built to last is an understanding of the principles, and that's why when Facebook goes away, we can immediately take the principle and apply it to the next big thing. And this way, you're never caught off guard. You're ready for what happens next. Now, second big key is embrace the shift. We talked about this shift a little bit last time, but the shift has to do with how buyers have changed. Amazing times that we live in. So specifically, we talked about this number 70%. Now, let's see how good you are. Does anybody remember the relationship between 70% and the way buyers have changed, specifically in retail? This is the great number. We know this, that today on average, 70% of the buying decision has already been made before they ever walk into the store. 70%. So the question is, what was that number 20 years ago? We know this. It was a lot lower, wasn't it? So let's say it's 30, 40% 15 years ago. Today we're at 70%. So the question is, for you, for me, for everybody else in this room, is what's this number going to be over the next 5, 10, 15 years? Where's it going to go? What do you think? You, sir, in white right there. Yeah, he's like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that one there, pool guy. So, where do you think this number's going in your business? Yeah, he said up. That was good. That was good. Because we know this, it's not going to go back. It's not going to go back, is it? What's your name, by the way? Alan? Welcome, my man. Welcome. We're going to have a good time, you and me, Alan. Now, if this number's true, though, we've got to accept some other realities, don't we? So, like, for example, if 70% of the buying decision happens before they walk into your lovely location, what is more important to your business? And let's assume that you have these departments, even though you necessarily might not call it this. Is your sales department or your marketing department more impactful on the actual sale? Which one? Marketing. Say it again. Marketing. We've got to embrace it. Yet notwithstanding, generally speaking, when a company's in financial trouble, the first department that gets laid off is marketing. That's how we pay them back for their influence. And generally speaking, when we're trying to grow the business, the first department we hire is sales. Of course, it's been that way for how many years? Hundreds. Now, question is why? Because never in the history of the world can we definitively track the revenue that marketing is generating you. And anybody that's doing e-commerce right now knows exactly what we're talking about. Anybody that's had someone walk into the store and say, I already know what I want, this is what I want. Did the salesperson make that sale? Now, this doesn't mean that salespeople aren't important today. It just means that we need to get on the front of this 70%. That the idea that the sale starts when they're walking into the location is so fundamentally flawed. That the relationship must start long before that. And for the rest of this conversation today, I'm going to show you hopefully how you can start the relationship before they walk into the doors. That is the idea. Now, number 3. We just brushed on this. They ask you answer. But what does it really mean? What does they ask you answer mean? It is an obsession with the way buyers think more than I got to show them my stuff. Because as retailers, we are obsessed with showing everything that we do and can do, yet oftentimes it's the simple questions that we don't address. It's the needs, it's the fears, it's the issues that people have, especially when they're getting ready to spend their money, when they're making a critical decision. So let me give you an example of a company that I have fallen in love with in the process of researching this industry. The company, there's 2 of them here. I love Ultimate Ears. Anybody from Ultimate Ears here? Raise your hand. If you're from Ultimate Ears, raise your hand. Anybody from there? Okay. Now, I want you to look at this. If you go to most web pages right now, okay, if you went to your homepage right now, who does it talk about immediately? Does it talk about you or does it talk about your customer? Now, of course, which one does the customer care about? You or themselves? Themselves, right? Now, look at what Ultimate does. Headline is improve who's? Your performance. So they're talking to you, the customer. It's all about you at first. Second thing is, hear like a pro, play like a pro. Let us help you design your in-ear monitor system. They understand that when you come, you're thinking about your needs, not about necessarily their latest and greatest gadget or widget or earpiece or whatever that thing is. They understand that. Now, I would ask you, when you think about your website, and if you went to your homepage right now, would I say immediately they're talking to me about my needs? Let's look at another one, and this company is, man, they get it, Deering. Deering. Raise your hand if you're from Deering. We got any Deering in this room? Man, we got to get them in the room, don't we? So does anybody sell Deering here? I'm just curious. Does anybody sell Deering here? Now, this is what's so powerful, and it's a lesson to all of us in the room. If you go to Deering's website right now, the first thing that you see, the first thing is how to get started playing banjo. Now, they have a choice, right? How many banjos could they show you right there on the homepage as soon as you get there? How many could they show you? How many? Yeah, lots, right? Probably dozens and dozens. Yet notwithstanding, they start with you, and they understand they've got to build the industry, and they're saying, there's a lot of people right now saying, how do I even get started? So they start with that fundamental question that people have. Now, the second part of their site, again, this is a lesson for all of us in the room. The second part of their site, fascinating. Look at this. On the left side of your screen, you've got learn how to play 5-string banjo with Tony Trischka. Now, once again, it's so cool because if you read below that, it says one of the world's premier banjo players teaches you how to play 3-finger style banjo with these free video lessons. They get it. And then they don't stop there. Deering goes on to say, because they know many of their customers are thinking, or potential customers, am I too old for this? Am I too old? Am I too old to even start? Whether it's the guitar, the banjo, or any of these instruments. And Deering addresses it head on right there in the homepage. Do you see the difference? It's a mindset. They haven't started talking about themselves. They're talking about you and their prospects, the ones that are going to build this industry. So I would ask you to go to your homepage and say, do we have the same mindset? Are we addressing their most immediate questions right now, or are we showing them the 35 most recent items that we have in stock? Now, number 4, this one's exciting. Do you see yourself as a media company right now? I used to think I was a pool guy. And by the way, I'm not a pool guy today. I still am a silent partner with my swimming pool company. But today, I have a digital sales and marketing company. What happened was I started to share the story of river pools in conferences because people were asking me to share it. And what would happen is I would share it, and then audiences would say, man, that was really nice. I guess that would work for you as a pool guy, but I don't see how it would work for me. And so I said, you know what? We got to show how these principles apply to every industry. And so that's when I started this process of working with businesses and brands all over the world. Now, today, my company's called Impact. And what we've done, one of the things that we've done is a couple years ago, I said, you know what? Too many companies know that video is important, but yet they outsource all their video to someone that might charge them an arm and a leg for 5 videos, and that's all they get for that entire year. In 2018, we have to see ourselves as a constant visual production, a true media company. Now, for example, this stat is one of the major game changers. Let's see how good you are. By the year 2019, which is how many months away? Yeah, still a little early for some of you. 6 months, 6 months. By the year 2019, they say what percentage of the content we consume online as buyers, in other words, your shoppers, your buyers, is going to be video-based content. Anybody have a guess? 80. Yeah, you're good, 80%. Now, when you see that, what does it make you think? Some of you are thinking, uh-oh. What percentage of your site right now is video? What percentage? The average, and what's cool is this industry is actually higher. The average website is about 5% video right now. We have 6 months if we want to stay ahead of the marketplace. But in order to do that, we've got to think like a media company. Now, how does a media company think? In other words, do you have somebody on staff that completely owns video for your company? Now, you might say, Marcus, I'm already wearing 100 different hats. I understand, but let's just accept the trend for what it is just for a minute, right? Do we have somebody that owns video, that sleeps it, that drinks it? Maybe have you considered hiring a full-time videographer? You know, I've got 3 different companies right now, and they all have a full-time videographer. Now, you might say, I still don't get it, Marcus. What will we produce all this video about? I know. Stay with me. Another stat that I think is amazing. Let's talk about social. Raise your hand if you're doing social media. I just want a quick poll. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're doing social media. Okay, now, guess what percentage more shares than text and images combined social video gets? So how much more in terms of shares does video get right now on social than text and images combined? Does anybody have a guess? Come on, give me something. Okay, says 20 times. Good. Anybody else have a guess? 50. Okay, good guess. The answer is 1,200%. Yeah, that'll make you cough. Yes, I agree. Yes, indeed it will. Now, when you see that, I didn't make that up. It's Cisco, by the way. It's Cisco's number. I didn't make it up. I'm not that smart. I'm a pool guy. Now, if this is true, we have to accept that it is, right? If this is true, what does it mean for your business? What does it mean for your social? And what you've been doing with respect to social? Here's what it means to me. And I hope that it means this to you. And this is just frank language, but this is what we come here for, we want someone to be honest with us. That today, we have no serious social media presence unless we're embracing video. If we are just posting that image, or we're just posting that little article, and thinking that it's going to truly generate multiple shares, awareness, ultimately revenue for our business, we're probably sorely mistaken. Because one video can do so much more than all of that. Now, one great example that I saw from someone in here was this company right here, Quinlan and Fabish. Are you in the room, Quinlan and Fabish? Anybody from there in the room? Now, this is a retailer, and I'm so impressed with this company because what they did is they posted a simple video of this group, Tower Power Horns, who came to one of their retail locations, and they basically did a set for him. Now, it wasn't some extensive video production. It wasn't a movie set. They just shot the video, probably with an iPhone. And the question is, what was the result? Well, if you go to Facebook today, and you go to this post, Tower Power, soul vaccination at Quinlan and Fabish Music, 11 months ago, it's been shared 2,000 times, and it has 141,000 views, right from their retail location. They had no idea that it was going to explode like this. And that's the beauty of it, is we never know how it's just going to magically get momentum. But there was magic in that room, and somebody bothered to hit record and show it, and because they showed it, all of a sudden we had incredible momentum, and they just shared and shared all over the world, people talking about Quinlan and Fabish. I love that, and that's what's possible if we hit that record button, and if we're willing to publish it out there. Now, I know many of you are doing video right now, but I would argue we can do video even better, and that's what I'm going to talk about right now. I'm going to give you some very specific types of videos that you can produce as a business, And I want to stand with you for a minute. Can we turn, this is going to drive them crazy, can we turn the house lights up just for a little bit, okay? Whoever's got the house lights, let's turn them up for a little bit. Now, I want to stand with you just for a second. I know they're working on this. This is what happens. I'll do this and they start to freak out in the back. Right? They always freak out. Now, see how that works? It's magical. You do it and they just like, scramble. Now, I want to talk about this just for a minute. First video that we haven't created that is one of the most fundamental videos that you can create. We're going to call it the 80% video, all right? And you're going to love this video. Now, let's say somebody comes into your retail location and they're looking for, hypothetically, a guitar, okay? And they're just getting started. Now, generally speaking, what percentage of the questions that they ask a sales associate are basically the same questions every single time? What percentage? Do you know, my man? What's your name, buddy? Jacob. How old are you, Jacob? 12 years old. And you're here with the pool guy. That's basically like a celebrity. Have you taken a photo for your friends yet?
No.
You will be the coolest guy in school, Jacob. Give Jacob a big round of applause. He's 12. He's 12. That's the future. Oh, Jacob's fired up. Now, the question is, what percentage of those questions, though, that we get from buyers, let's say about a guitar, are basically the same every time? What percentage you think? 80%. You're so good. Even if it wasn't the answer you were thinking, thanks for saying it anyway, right? 80%. Now, this begs another question, doesn't it? Why do we continue to answer the same 80% over and over again? Why? Hey, Hal said, because I'm stupid. Right? No. Now, my man said, because they're asked. Now, the question, though, Bill, is, why don't they already know? What would happen if, before they walked into your location, Josh, they not only knew the answer to those 80%, but they had heard it from you. They had watched it from you. And they knew your company's doctrine, your philosophy on those 80%. How would that initial sales up, that presentation, that demo, how would it be different? It would be totally different, wouldn't it? They are already an expert, Robert. That's exactly right. They're already an expert. And so the question is, can we get them there? So this is what I want you to do. When you get back with your retail group, your team, your company, your associates, whatever you call it, I want you to brainstorm the questions that you get every single time somebody comes in for a major item that you sell, okay? Just brainstorm them. Choose the top 7 to 10 that you get every single time. Now, once you do that, create an individual video on each one of the 7 to 10, Ken, okay? And then what you do after that is, sure, you're going to post those individual ones up, but you mash them together and you create one that is called the 80% video. And this is the key to it. If somebody calls you up, Ken, and says, hey, I'd like to come in and, I'm just being hypothetical, look at some guitars this weekend. Do you have that one in stock? You Normally, like most, we might say yes. This is what most retailers do. We say, sure, it's in stock. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday when you come in. Now, instead of that, we say, now, you're going to come in and look at that one? Okay, now I want to send you this one video to look at before you come in because it's going to answer all those questions that you have right now that you're thinking that nobody's addressed. And if you watch this video before you come in on Saturday, I promise your experience here is going to be so much better. Does that make sense? Now, also, the other side to this, Ken, is how often does somebody come into the store? They don't buy because the other decision maker isn't there, right? And then, because of that, they say, I need to go home and talk with the other person. Now, how often does the sale get lost because something wasn't translated the right way? You see, so often we lose the business because the translation faulted in the home when we can't control it as the retailer. And so instead, let's eliminate the problems of translation. And we say as they're leaving the store, now, I know you're going to show this to your spouse or to your loved one. Now, if you're going to talk about this, show them this video. This is going to answer all the questions that we talked about here today. And I promise you, it's going to help you all have a great conversation about which is the best guitar for you. Does that make sense, Ken? You going to do it, brother? Yes. He said yes because he was scared. Good job, Ken. Give it up. All right, yeah, I'll take it. And by the way, he says sales manager on his tag. Oh, yeah, sales manager. If you don't do it, Ken, I'm coming for you. All right, number two. All right, bio videos. Now, what is a bio video? So the whole idea is, we've heard this a million times, right, my man? We buy from those we know, like, and trust. Exactly. We've heard it a million times. And so here's what I want you to do. For all of your sales associates or anybody that is talking with prospects, maybe it's those that teach lessons, music lessons for you, whatever it is, create a bio video for each one of those people. Now, some of you have already done that, but you're missing one of the best parts to it, Brandon. And that is, oh, and by the way, how do you do a bio video? 60, 90, 120 seconds where you basically say two things. What you do at the company you work for, why you love it, and when you're not doing that, what are some of the personal things that you love, all right? It's a little bit of professional, a little bit of personal, but here's the thing. You integrate that video into your email signature. Now, why your email signature? This is the most underutilized email marketing tool that we have, and most of us don't understand. So let me give you an example of what a great email can and should look like. So this is an example of, my company used to be called the Sales Line. Today it's called Impact, but this is one of my videographers, right? And so the tool that I'm showing you, and you see the name of the tool, the bottom right, write that down because if you don't have a great looking email signature, it's so simple to do this. It's called Y-Stamp. Now what you do is you have the ability to make the professional look on the top. You notice in the middle, there's a link, so you could create a call to action there. Like maybe, here's our latest products, our latest discount, we're having this show, or whatever that thing is. So you do that in the middle, but then at the bottom, you put the bio video. Right, G? You got it. Man, that was quick, man. You're good. All right? And so you put the bio video. Now, here's the thing. All you have to do is upload that video you make to YouTube. You put that link right there in the tool, and it self-populates, and now you have a signature that looks like that. How many of you in this room right now, and everybody participate, have a video in your email signature right now? Raise your hand. You see, this is why we have these conversations. This is why we come to Dan. And if you do this, this is what we found over and over again. That video, if you send out many emails to prospects and customers, that oftentimes they get viewed over 25 times a month. That many more people know your face, they know your voice before they come into your location. All right, Jacob? Yeah, Jacob. Yeah, good. All right, Jacob's going to do it. Now, next one. You're going to love this one. This can be a game changer. So many great ones. I mean, it's just all great. Product service pages. We all know that the second most viewed pages of our site for most of us are our product service pages, right? So you got your home page, number one. Then you got your product service page, number two. So every single product service page of the site needs to have a specific video that addresses that specific product. Now, you might say, Marcus, we've got tons of products. Well, you start with the 20% that generate 80% of the revenue, and you work your way out from there, right? Now, here's the key to these types of videos, though, and this is the part that most of us miss. Always, especially when it comes to instruments, and so many we just don't do this. We always want to say who ideally this is for, and also who it is not for. Yes. Why is that? Why? Why do we want to say who it's not for? It builds, say it again, Vincent. It builds trust, brother. That's exactly right. And that is the business we're in, isn't it? And besides, if we don't tell them that and then they make a bad purchase, who does it come back on? It comes back on us. So we want them to feel like, finally, somebody was willing to help me understand who this was and wasn't a good fit for. Because my son, who's never necessarily bought a guitar, should he come in and just buy any guitar that is in the showroom? Of course not. Now you might say, well, Marcus, we already do that with our retail associates. Yes, you might, but do we do it with all of our communications, especially with video on the front end? Does that make sense? During that 70%, while they're vetting us, before they've walked into the store. That way they know what they want because they have self-selected in that process. Number four. I want you to raise your hand if you have like a Contact Us page on your website right now. Raise your hand. Do you have a Contact Us? Okay, good. The rest of you, I don't know if you have a website. Good. Now, let's talk about landing pages, Scott. You ready to talk about landing pages? Now, Scott doesn't know how to take me yet. He's still unsure, but I think he's coming around. Now, a landing page is any page of your site that has a form that somebody could fill out, right? That's a landing page. Now, when somebody is filling out a form and giving an email address, and you go through this all the time, there's a set of emotions that you experience. What are the emotions that you experience when somebody's filling out a form? Oh, excuse me, when you're filling out a form, what are the emotions you experience? What's that? Go ahead, buddy. Agitated. Yeah. Maybe a little bit agitated, maybe a little bit concerned. What are you concerned about? Am I going to get spammed? Am I going to get emails? Is a salesperson going to bug me to death? Right? That's what we're concerned about. And so, anything we can do to ease that worry is a good thing, Mark. All right, anything we can do. Like that hat, by the way. Go ahead, like that hat. Now, this is how it works. You put a video next to the form on your website. Now, what is the title of the video? It literally says something like this. Should you even fill out this form? Literally. Because what is the person thinking? Should I fill out the form? They ask you answer, right? Now, once you do that, you create the video, and what does the video look like? Well, the video might sound or look something like this. So you're sitting there right now, and you're saying to yourself, should I even fill out this form? Okay, well, what's this process going to look like? And then you explain what the process is going to look like. You overcome their concerns, and then at the end you say, now look, if you have any other questions, let us know, but otherwise, we can't wait to talk to you soon. Now, here's what's powerful. We've seen time and time again that if you put a video next to a form on your site, that the conversion lift on that form goes up by 80% on average. Raise your hand if you would like an 80% lift on your forms on your website. The rest of you are dead. You're dead. You're dead. Because we've seen times when it's 100, 120, 150. This is like literally, if you have 100% lift on the amount of people that are filling out a form on your site, what type of impact is it going to have on your business over the next year, Scott? It's going to be phenomenal, isn't it? It's going to be big time. And so the question is, are we willing to do it? You willing to do it, brother? Got a commitment. That's all right. I got one out of 400. Here we go. Now, hopefully some of you are running out of this room right now so you can get that video next to that form. Yeah. Told you got takeaways, Jim. You're feeling my vibes. Okay, next one. Number five. Who we're not a good fit for. Now this is like, what do you mean? Question, are you a good fit for everybody, yes or no? No, man, y'all are good. You can tell this is an advanced crowd. Sometimes people are like, oh, of course we are. But if we're being honest with ourselves, when I was a pool guy, I wasn't a good fit for everybody. And so when you tell people who you are and who you're not a good fit for, or when you talk about your products and talk about who you are and who you're not a good fit for, it's pretty powerful. It's pretty amazing. So let's talk about that on the site. Next one, the customer or the hero's journey. Now, we've all been familiar with this hero's journey because we've watched Disney movies before. But our customers have a journey as well, and it aligns, Jake, with that hero's journey. 3 parts to it. You see, most of us might have a quote on our website that says something like, from a customer, I love these guys and here's why. Quotes are not enough anymore. We need to show the journey that they went on. Like during, hopefully, they've got videos. It's my hope that if they don't have it, they will have videos of that person that was an octogenarian, that was, 80 plus years old, that picked up the banjo and said, I'm going to learn this thing. And so how does it work with those three parts? First part is where they were. In other words, the problem or the need or the desire that they had. I want to learn to play the guitar. And then the journey that they went on, hopefully with you. Either how you helped them select the right guitar or how you gave them lessons or whatever that thing was. And then you show the end, where they are today. Here's what's cool about this industry. We love to share. This is a passion industry. It's one of the most passionate industries in the world, right, Scott? And so your customers are willing to talk about the story, their journey that they had with your products, with your services, if we just say, hey, can we show this on our site? And they're like, yeah, Scott, we love you, man. We want to do whatever it takes to help you build your business. We don't ask them. Scott said, we don't ask them, we just do it. All right, that's cool too, Scott. That's cool. You little rebel. All right, so, all right, customer journey videos. Now we got one more. The claims we make. Now, I want you to think about a claim you make about your company. Now, generally, when I say claims we make, is we all like to say things like, we're the best this, we have the most that. So could somebody give me an example of a claim that many of us might make on our websites? Anybody, come on, give me one real quick. Come on. We are only, yeah, that was great. What's your name again? Myrna. Yeah, Myrna, you're awesome. You got good vibes, by the way. Your energy, rocking and rolling this morning, Myrna. Okay, so she said we're the only full-service music company around, something like that. Music store in the District of Columbia. There you go, girl. You got to get that straight. Now, so is it possible that anybody else says that in the District of Columbia? Now, I'm not saying that it's true, but is it possible that somebody says it? Now, here's the thing. If you say it, Al, and then everybody else says it, what does it mean to the marketplace? What does it mean? Nothing until we show it, prove it. So this is what I want you to do. I want you, as a brainstorm with your team, to write down all the claims that you make about your organization, right? Whatever those best are or the most, whatever, just write them down. Now, after you do that, here's step 2 and 3. Step 2, John, is first thing you ask is, how many of our competitors also make this claim? And then the next step is, have we physically shown it, not just said it? So what's an example of this? I'm getting ready to show you a video that is one of the greatest videos I've ever seen on the claims we make. Now, as you watch this, notice that this isn't a sexy industry that I'm going to show you. And it's not something in the music industry, and whatever you do, don't look at it and say, well, it's not music, so it's not the same thing. It's all the same thing because we're all in the same business of trust, right? But here's what I want you to take away, because we're going to talk about it after we watch it, and that is this. What are the impressions you get about this company that they don't say in the video? In other words, you see them, but you don't hear them, but you still see them, and therefore you get the impression. Does that make sense, everybody? So I want you to just make notes of it, maybe even scribble a few notes down as you're watching it, because after we're done with the video, we're going to talk about it because it's so fascinating. All right, I'm ready to watch this video.
At Service Red, your reputation matters. We believe long-term solutions create long-term partners.
And quality defines your company.
We believe you shouldn't have to change your business
to meet the demands of your suppliers.
And you deserve products developed specifically for your needs.
We believe it's personal.
It's personal.
It's personal.
If you're better, we're better.
And standing behind our word.
And that our smallest customer and vendor are as important as our largest partner.
We believe that your challenges are our opportunities.
Your needs are our responsibility.
And they don't end at 5 p.m.
We believe in going the extra mile.
The same day shipment.
I can ship your order in an hour. We believe we save you time
By helping you do what you do best.
We believe in your continuous improvement.
We will not let you down.
We will not let you down.
We will not let you down.
We believe in you.
We believe in you.
We believe in you.
We believe our industry is changing.
And a 70-year-old company can lead the way in innovation.
We believe your problems have solutions.
Your problems have solutions.
And every customer deserves 100%.
We believe our focus is service, not sales.
And our people are as important as our products.
We believe success comes from all of our employees.
We believe community matters.
We believe we make a difference.
We believe it's tenacity and persistence.
In dependability.
And quality.
Service and performance.
We believe the entrepreneur is the heart of the American economy.
And standing behind our work.
And revolutionizing your industry.
We believe in a deeper understanding of market conditions.
And we believe in creative solutions.
We believe in faster and better product development.
And better yields with less waste.
And American innovation.
American manufacturing. And shipping products from our door
To your floor.
We believe quality service attracts quality partners.
We believe your reputation matters.
We believe we make a difference.
We make a difference.
We make a difference.
At Service Red, we make a difference.
Now, who wants to buy some thread? Yeah. Now, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. My friend here says you have chills. How is it possible that you get chills watching somebody talk about thread? How is it possible? They talked about America. Now, let's discuss, because they said a lot of things, but let's discuss what they didn't say. What are some of the impressions that you got about this company that you didn't even hear? Anybody, go. They love what they do. How do you know that? It just came across, didn't it? It just came across. That was great. What's another impression you got about the company? Yeah, that they are the best in the industry. And one of the reasons, of course, is because you already feel there's no thread company that's doing anything like that. What else did you say? Somebody said something in the back. They're diverse. Yes. Do they hire females? Do they hire elderly? Do they hire minorities? But did they say it? You see, we got to stop just saying stuff. That's not enough. Our mindset has to be, if they can't see it, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't matter if we say it. Can we show it? That company, if I said to you, do they have a great culture? What would you say, John? Amazing culture. Now, here's the thing, John. They might have 500 employees, and 480 of them might have said, I don't want to be on that video. But 20 of them said, I'm game, and now we all think they're awesome. You know what I'm saying, John? It's not about who doesn't want to participate. It's about who does. You can create that for your business. And I have no doubt, with the amazing stories and the blood, sweat, and tears in this industry, in these stores, in this room, that we can create something as good, if not better than that. Yes or no? And I hope you do. And when you do, I hope you send it to me, because I want to show it to the world. I want people to buy their stuff from you, Scott, even if you don't like me still. Okay, good. All right. Now, let's continue with this conversation. We must, are you having fun yet? Yeah, good. Yeah. Starting to get fun, isn't it, Stephen? Yeah. You're like, at first, like, I don't know, but now it's starting to get good. Okay, good. Obsess over personalization and self-selection. What do I mean by that? Personalization and self-selection. Now, I shared a couple of these little stats with some of you before, so don't spill the beans, because these are really, really interesting. We got some interesting trends that are happening. Stuff that we used to not do that we're now doing, even you, Sheila. You ready for this? You look beautiful today, by the way. Okay, here we go. First trend is, over the past 2 years alone, searches with the phrase "for me" have increased by 130%. For me. So an example of this would be, let's say I own an apartment, right? And I'm looking for a new washer-dryer unit. I might go online and I might say, what is the best washer-dryer unit for me in an apartment? Do you see the difference? See the difference? We used to not say "for me." Now all of a sudden we're saying it a lot. Now, how does this apply to us? What is a "for me" question that people are asking about your stuff that you sell right now? Anybody, give me one. Come on. Come on. Yeah, what is, go ahead, say it. What's the right guitar for me? Now, here's the question, Will. If I came to your site right now, is there something that I could do, in other words, a series of questions that I could answer, something interactive, that would allow me to put in essentially my information so that by the end you said, okay, based on what you said, we would recommend these 3 guitars. Do you see what I'm saying, Will? Because right now, if they come into the store, they get that all day, don't they? But the problem is we're allowing it just to happen in the store. They need to go through that process that they're going in the store. That needs to happen before they come in, that self-selection. Does it make sense? This is what we have to achieve if we're going to be the best. And this doesn't cost a lot of money. These aren't really expensive like development programs that you have to do. Very simple things, Kate, and you can have tremendous self-selection opportunities on your site. Another example of a big trend, all this has to do with personalization. Do I need? That's increased by 65% over the last 2 years. People asking, do I need this? Do I need that? They ask the same about the accessories for some of the instruments or some of the different parts or this or that. Address the do I needs. And then one more is, should I? Now, this should I one is interesting. This is the one that just gets my goose. This is crazy. I want to show you the top 3 should I searches in the world right now. Do y'all want to see them? Yeah, you do, don't you? Okay, because you said that, I'm going to show them to you now. That's because you said it. Okay, here's the top 3 in the world. I can't make this up. And I want you to think, what does this say about us as human beings? Okay, what does this say about us? Here we go. Number 1, what should I order for lunch? Number 2, should I text him? Hey, anybody got teenage daughters in this room? Teenage daughters? Listen, I want you to go home. I want you to tell your teenage daughter that if you have to type it in a machine, the answer is no. And finally, Nan, what should I do with my life?
Get off the phone.
She said, get off the phone. Yes. Yes. Give her a round of applause. Yes. Now, how does this work? Well, so I'm going to show you a great example of personalization. So I have this, I've got this amazing daughter. We all got amazing kids, but as a speaker, I've been so blessed. I got 4 kids, and I've traveled around the world. And for 6 months, my oldest traveled around the world with me. Her name's Danielle. And this is when we were coming up the Strait of Norway, because I was speaking in Oslo. And this is an amazing experience, and you know this, that once they travel the world and see the world, they're never the same. They're never the same. Now, Danielle now is getting ready to go to college. And as she is going to college, she said, Dad, I want to start a business in college. She had one in high school where she did makeup. And so she wants to be a makeup artist in college. And so naturally, she says, I need to build a website because you don't have a business unless at this point, right, we have a website. So I said, Danielle, why don't we go to Wix.com? Now, has anybody ever heard of Wix.com? Very interesting. Now, when you leave today, tonight, in your room or whatever it is, I want you to go through this so you see exactly what this interaction looks like. And as I'm showing you this example, hopefully you're going to say to yourself, how could I do the exact same thing with the stuff that I sell? Because you could do the exact same thing, as you'll see, and it's not that complicated. Okay, so we went to the site. I'm standing over Danielle's shoulder, and Wix says to her, we want your Wix experience. And notice, this is the whole page. This is all she sees on the page. We want your Wix experience to be perfect for your needs. Answer a few questions to help us get to know you better. Very personalized, right? Then it says, let's do it. And Danielle's like, all right, let's play. Now, the next thing it says, and this is the only thing she sees on the screen. I want to create a site for, and then Danielle clicks, of course, myself. And as soon as she clicks myself, it brings up something else to ask her. It should be, what type of site? It gives her options, and then all of a sudden she's able to find the one that's for her, beauty and wellness, and she continues to go through this process. It's getting very interesting, and she's having a good time. Now Wix tells her, now let our ADI answer a few questions and get a website designed for you in minutes. And Danielle's like, cool, all right, let's keep going. Then they say, so what's the website for? She types in makeup artist, and now it asks her some more questions, like, does it need any of the following features? And she's like, yeah, I want to take bookings and appointments, Dad. Okay, go ahead and check that box, Danielle. And then it says, what is the name of your business? Now here's where it got interesting. Guess what she didn't have yet? A name. So the moment she puts her name, now all of a sudden she's saying, or she's feeling what? I have a business. I'm owning this. And so she puts in her name. And then again it talks to her and says, hello, I'm Wix's artificial design intelligence. I was developed to guide you in creating a stunning website. I can create billions of combinations of text, images, and more. Now that I've learned who you are, I'll use that information to design a website that's uniquely yours. And then it goes on to ask a couple more questions. Pick a style that you would like, Danielle. And Danielle's like, ooh, I love that color. So she picks the color. And then it says to her, okay, so I'm going to design your homepage for you now. Danielle's fired up. And then it shows how it's building out the website before her eyes. And she's like, wow, this is exciting. And of course, it's building up because she wants to see what it looks like. And then, of course, finally, it says, here it is, Danielle, the first version of your website. Natural Beauty by Danielle. Now, what do you think the next thing was that Danielle did? What do you think it was? Yes, she asked me for my credit card. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Can you help them own it before they buy it? I bet you could. And I bet some of you will. And that experience is going to lead to them walking into the store saying, I already know. I've got the printout right here. I've got it right here. Now, integrate content into the sales process. This one is awesome. This one is awesome. Quick question for you. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. How many pages of your website do you think your average customer would be willing to read before they buy? Anybody? How many pages? Okay, somebody said 2. Way to go big. Way to go big. 2. Okay, so let's assume that it takes 5 minutes to read 2 pages of your website. Now, is the process of deciding to do business with you and buy from you and come to your store worth more or less than 5 minutes of my time? Hopefully you feel like it's worth a lot more, because it is worth more, that thing that you sell. And we got to value that thing that we sell. And the problem is that many of us have undervalued that wonderful thing that we sell. Because we think we bought into this idea that people don't have the time. People have the time, especially if they're getting ready to buy an instrument or something that they're going to hold in their arms, and they're going to take it to school the first day, and all these things that matter. So let me tell you how this really came to light with me. This number 30 changed my life. At the beginning of 2013, I was looking at 2 groups of people from my swimming pool website. Both of them had filled out a form on the site and said, I want to get a quote on a pool. This group here ended up buying. This group here ended up not buying. So I said to myself, what is the difference between the ones that did versus did not buy? And I noticed the number 30 kept jumping out underneath the group that bought. What do you think that number 30 represented? Total pages viewed. This is what we found. Pay attention. If somebody read 30 or more pages of the website before the initial sales appointment or before they came into the store, they would buy 80% of the time. If they didn't hit that mark, the closing rates were 25%. What was happening over the course of those 30 pages? We're building trust. That's exactly right. And if you knew, house lights back on, if you knew that all you had to do was get your prospects to consume over 30 pieces of your content and they would buy 80% of the time when they came into the store, what would you do differently? What would you do differently? Come on, Jared, what would you do, brother? He's like, oh, snap. What would you do? Somebody said, I have more pages on my website. That's probably good because if your website's 15 pages, you can't say, hey, Marcus, could you read my website twice? You can't do that, right? So it better have more content. It better be about them. It better answer their questions, their needs, allow for self-selection, but we've got to integrate it into the sales process. As we talked about earlier with my sales manager friend, we got to make sure they're taking the time. And so when we understood or saw the power of 30Kin, we integrated it into every phone call. We made sure that if we were talking to that person, we were sending it to them. If they came into the store or into the showroom in our case, we were making sure they were consuming that content and showing and explaining to them how it would help them prevent from making any mistakes at all. And because of that, we started to have cool things happen. Now, what I'm about to show you is real. I can't make this up, okay? This is a lead sheet. It's going to be hard to see it a little bit in the back. So, in other words, when somebody fills out a form on my site, this is the type of information that I see. So this person's, and go ahead and leave the slide up for now in the back. So this person's name is William Grizzard. We're going to call him Bill Grizzard, okay? Now, that's his name. If you look on the right side, it says that he was doing an organic search. We know what that is. It says he was using Yahoo, which kind of makes him weird, right? And then it says he searched cost of fiberglass pool, and then something really interesting happened next. After he lands on the site, it says he read 375 pages of the site. What is wrong with Bill Grizzard? Come on, you're saying, yeah, he's got way too much time on his hands. He must be retired. Maybe he's a competitor. Maybe he's a stalker. Maybe he's got obsessive swimming pool disorder. But either way, we agree that this is odd behavior. Yes or no? Odd? Odd behavior. Same night, can't make it up. Same night, I get another lead. It comes from Joni Grizzard. Turns out Bill has a wife named Joni. And Joni also did an organic search on Yahoo. First identified Yahoo family in America. And she searches Richmond, Virginia pools. She reads 149 pages of the site. So between these two people, how many pages of the website have they now read? 520 some pages. What do you think that sales appointment was like? I'm going to use this as a prop, my friend. I walk into the house. Bill Grizzard is standing there with a spreadsheet in his hands. It has the pool he is getting. It has every option and accessory he's getting with it. And all he needed from me was one little thing, which was price. And I walked out of the house 45 minutes later, not 2.5 hours later like the norm, with a signed contract, a $5,000 deposit. And as I drove away, I started to laugh because I realized something. How much selling had I done that day? Yeah, was he past 70%? Where was he? 100%. My only job that day was, do not screw this up, pool guy. Now, what if the only job of your sales associates were not to mess it up? Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't we like that? Now, it doesn't stop right there, guys. It doesn't stop right there. I've realized many times that content, assuming it's honest, it's the greatest sales and trust building tool in the world. Last year, we sold 135 pools, my company, and our average customer read over 100 pages of the website before they bought. Now, if you had come to me 6-7 years ago and said, do you realize your average customer would be willing to read over 100 pages of your site before they buy? What do you think I would have told you? You're crazy. You don't understand my business. You don't understand my industry. You don't understand my buyer. I'm telling you, we got to stop underestimating the power of great teaching and the willingness of our customers to consume that information so that they feel comfortable with the buying decision. Right, Joanne? That is the goal. Now, there's one more cool one that I want to show you. And it has to do with the big problem. Email. I said I was going to give you takeaways. You got lots of them, haven't you? Say yes if you've gotten some takeaways. Go ahead and say yes. Yes, yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. Now, We got two big problems with emails, don't we, MJ? First big problem with email is that they don't open the email, right? Second problem with email is what? They don't read it, Eric. Exactly. So I need a volunteer. You, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Minzy? Hop up, Minzy. Hop up here. All right, everybody give Minzy a round of applause. Okay? Yeah, good. Now, Minzy, I want you to look at the screen for a second, okay? You're very handsome, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Now, let's pretend that you came to my guitar store.
Yep.
And that you looked at guitars and you didn't buy, but you said, I'm probably going to come back in a couple days. Not that you've ever heard that before, but at my store, I hear it all the time, right? And so I hear that from Minzy who came in. Now, I have a choice, don't I? I can either just let Minzy go or I can follow up with him via email. Now, Minzy, I want you to tell me how you would feel if you got, let's say this email right here. Hey, Minzy, I'm just following up. I wanted to thank you for stopping by the store today for your new guitar. If you have any questions as you go through the process, let me know. Talk soon. Marcus, the guitar guy. Now, was that very exciting?
No.
It wasn't. The chances that you really pay attention to that and feel good about it is what, Minzy? Zero. Okay, I agree with that, Minzy. So let's say, hypothetically, that we did another one. It said, hey, Minzy, I made this video for you. Now, what's the chances that you would actually watch that video?
Yeah,
it's getting higher, isn't it? It's getting higher, right? It's getting higher. But we don't have to stop there, ladies and gentlemen, because there's one more way to do this. Let's say, Minzy, I sent you that email, but it said this. Hey, Minzy, I made this video just for you. And then all of a sudden, it's got this incredible name. That's your name, by the way. That's your name, okay? If Minzy sees a video with his name, what is the chance that he is going to push play right now? 100%. You can't help yourself. You can't help yourself. How are you not going to click on that right there?
I'm dying to click.
He's dying. He wants to know. Now, do you want to know what it says?
Sure.
No, I can't tell you that. You're going to have to click on it later. Give him a round of applause. Very good. So here's the thing. The tool that I just showed you is a tool called Go Video by Vidyard, all right? It is the simplest tool in the world to do, and I promise, whether you're technical or not, if you have a laptop with a little webcam, if you go find Go Video by Vidyard right now, it's free, by the way, costs you nothing, all right? I'm not an affiliate. If you go there, now go ahead and keep the screen up because I want them to see something for a second. If you go there and you get it set up, you'll get it set up in 5 minutes. Here's my challenge to you. And what I'm about to ask you to do is totally unscalable. That's my personal email. I want you to commit yourself to go back tonight while you're here, get this on your Chrome. You'll get it in seconds on your Chrome browser. And I want you to send me a personalized video. And if you send me a personalized video, say whatever you want. You can say, Marcus, you are the goofiest pool guy I've ever heard. Okay, whatever you want to say. I will personally send you a video back. Yes, it's unscalable, but I want action. And if we don't induce action, why do we even come? That is the reason why we are here. Anybody going to do it? Say yes. Okay, there's at least 20 in the room. Okay, good, there's at least 20. Now, final number 7. As you do these things, as you embrace this video, maybe get that full-time videographer on staff, there's going to be a period that's a little bit rough. You're not going to figure it all out at the beginning. In so many ways, this is playing an instrument, isn't it? There is a messy period where it feels awkward, where maybe your team isn't great on camera. Or maybe you feel like, gee, I just don't know the best place to shoot. Or I don't know how to integrate this into the sales process. Or it's not the way that I'm used to saying it. I'm asking you to embrace the messy that comes with that. Because if you fall forward on this, it's going to change your business forever. Go into it with that mindset. And I promise you'll get results. Final story, and then we're all done. So, of course, I got to tell you a pool guy story, right? Pool guy story, because who doesn't love pool guys by this point? So, for a long time when I was a pool guy selling pools, I would knock on a door, say 5 o'clock on a Friday, and I would hear a kid in the background like Jacob, and the kid would say, "Mom, Dad, pool guy's here." Now, the kid knew the pool guy was coming because it was like Santa Claus was coming to town, right, Jacob? So the kids always knew. So I heard that for years. And then we integrated video into the sales process. We made it a part of our culture. We said if we don't show it, it doesn't exist. And then one night, when I knocked on the door, I heard a kid say, and I'll never forget it, the kid said, "Mom, Dad, the guy on the video is here." And I knew that was going to be a very different conversation that night. And then, as we continued to do this, I can't make it up, I heard a kid one night say, "Mom, Dad, Marcus from the video is here." The vision, as we go forward, has to be our customers must see us before we've ever seen them. They must hear us, our voice, before we've ever heard them. And they must feel like they know us before we've ever met them. And if they have that experience, we will induce that magical thing that you and I call trust, which is the foundation of all businesses. You, my friends, have been awesome. Thank you very much.